almost out of here now. We could be almost done.
Can I tell you another Tesla story?
Please share with me with your Tesla
There's
stories.
There's a connection on the car where you can hook a USB to the speakers, and you can make the car sound like a Hellcat or like a Mustang GT, like one of the old, like Steve McQueen.
I know my brother's.
That's
house is
cool.
gas.
Yeah, and they have the, when you sit down,
It's-
you have to
we're
sit
good?
it though. You have to.
Can we do, let's do a mic check with Mike coming through mic 5. Make sure you can pick him up through the phone. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike.
Mic check on mic 5, Mike Scary.
Need like a red studio light.
I know, like, are we good?
We're live.
And action.
Saturday night. Oh my gosh, we saw Nate Bargatze. Is that how you say his name?
Oh,
Were you there?
Was he great?
He was in Roanoke, right?
He was in Roanoke. Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard. He's so funny. That was a good show.
Oh, you got it? Did Mike go through? Could you?
Mike, let's do you one more time.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
You're good. She's good with Mike.
Yes.
Okay.
I could hear us on the phone, so.
But okay, so you're thinking we could hear Mike. Okay.
Oh, yeah, she said we could hear.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Good.
Answer.
It is 7:13. I now call this meeting to order. Please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Felix, for leading.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. I'm going to do, let me go ahead actually, and we have a commissioner who is calling in. Mike Scary is calling in, which is allowed with our policies or code, whatever word you want me to use. So do we want to go ahead? Can I get a motion to approve Mike to phone in for today's meeting, including being able to vote via phone? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to allow Mike Scary to attend the meeting remotely and also have voting privileges.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
I guess I got 2 seconds. Let's do roll call.
Vice Chair Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Curtis,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Scary. Well, you don't vote. Commissioner Sowers,
Aye.
and Chairperson Knies.
Aye.
All right.
So that passes. So Mike, you have the ability to participate via telephone and to have voting rights via phone.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. At this point, we'll open it to public comments. Is there anyone here to address the Planning Commission related to anything except the public hearing? Seeing none, I will close public comments. All right, moving on to item 3, approval of Planning Commission minutes for June 2nd, 2025. Any edits or concerns to the minutes?
Nope.
Not from me.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I can make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's do roll call.
Vice Chair Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Curtis,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Scary,
Aye.
Commissioner Sowers,
Aye.
and Chairperson Knies.
Aye. All right, with that, it's unanimous, they are approved. All right, at this time, we're going to open up the public hearing. Conditional use permit request by Main Street Preservation LLC, property owner, and Joseph L. Simmons, applicant, to allow residential use, specifically the construction of 10 townhomes in the General Business District B3 on property located at 511 Roanoke Street, identified as tax parcel 528-35-1, parcel ID 031706, and consisting of approximately 1.008 acres. The property is designated as business commercial on the future land use map of the 2013 Christiansburg Comprehensive Plan. At this time, I'd like to turn over to staff, if there's anything else they would like for us to know or to highlight from the application.
Good evening, Commissioners. The applicant is seeking approval for a conditional use permit to allow residential use, specifically 10 townhomes, within the general business district zoning. The proposed development will adhere to R3 development standards. The property is not located within either the 100 or 500-year flood hazard area. If this request is approved in accordance with Section 42-623A1 of the Christiansburg Town Code, the applicant would be required to submit a full site plan to the town for review and approval. I will note that the applicant has not provided any additional materials other than the one-sheet application form that you have in your packet.
All right, thank you. Before I open the floor to other folks, I do just want to note that commissioners did receive an email today regarding the CUP for 511 Roanoke Street, in which the letter raises concern and opposition to the request for the conditional use permit, specifically the townhomes on this commercially zoned property. The main concern is that the request is being made without specific development plans attached, so it creates an unknown future project. Conditional use permits should be based on specifics of a proposed use, including things like the layout, site plan, additional information, which the applicant said they would submit if this is approved. The person also shares that approving this request essentially hands over a blank check for residential development in a business-zoned area. Additionally, the business zoning here exists for a reason. The land was set aside for commercial use to support local jobs, economy. The concern is putting homes there instead of allowing a space for business growth. And then the development would significantly increase traffic and congestion in an area not built to handle it, especially during peak times in which adding 10 new homes could be associated with more vehicle usage. And then lastly, that this sets a precedent. If approved, a conditional use permit here, what would stop similar petitions from other business zoned parcels nearby? So all commissioners have read it. I did not read it word for word. But we have received it, so I just want to acknowledge on the recording. Is there anyone else here to speak on the public hearing? If you'll please state your name, address.
Hello, my name's Brian Hamilton, and I live on Robert Street. So I come out tonight to talk about this conditional use permit, and I have some of the same concerns. A conditional use permit should have a concept plan so that you know what is being proposed for the rezoning. In addition, if the commission were to decide to go forward, I think that the applicant should proffer the entrance will only be on Roanoke Street. That way, that will reduce traffic on Robert Street. Robert Street's a very quiet residential neighborhood. But mainly, I would like to see a concept plan and layout. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else here to speak in regards to the public hearing? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. All right. Commissioners, I'd like to go ahead and open up discussion. What questions or comments do you have?
Sure, I have a couple comments addressing the citizens' comments as well. I think it's already been mentioned that a plan has to be submitted for approval before any development can go forward. So it's not going to be just any kind of development that will go in there. It must match compatible housing that we would that the town would benefit from having. There is a housing crisis, so having additional homes, condos, townhomes, being specific, I think would help the town and the New River Valley region. Last comment, or two comments. One, I like the proffer. I think that's great, one entrance. And the last comment is more traffic. Right now, if it's a business, it's zoned for business. You could put a business in there that could have a whole lot more traffic than 10 townhomes. So we need to be careful what we ask for there. So right now, we would put a limit on the traffic by having 10 townhomes in there, but depending on what kind of business, and that's by right. So they could put any kind of business in there, and you could have a difficult traffic situation. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from commissioners?
I like the idea of 10 townhomes there. I too like that one entrance off of Roanoke Street. But yes, I don't think that much traffic is going to be anticipated with 10 townhomes. I mean, it's not like a crazy amount. Now, if you have a restaurant there or something else, I mean, you can have a whole lot of people driving in and out of that, and they will, have probably more than one entrance. So,
Could be, yeah.
yep. So those are my comments. So.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I struggle with not knowing what's going to be there.
Yes.
What the conceptual plan looks like.
Yes.
The townhomes directly to the right of it are very nice. Those were well done. But I struggle with saying yes to something if I can't see what it is.
Yeah, I need the visual too.
Oh, yeah, just to add, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Sowers. I would like to see the plan. I mean, I like the idea,
Yeah.
but without anything tangible in front of us, I'm not ready to vote tonight on
I mean, I
anything.
think if they had a buyer for the property and that buyer had a plan, then that's one thing. And
Right.
they're trying to change it now so that it might help bring a buyer to the property.
And I think for the applicant, I think, it'd be easier to sell if it was approved to put townhomes there. But to the extent that you're hearing us tonight, our only major concern is what kind of townhomes. And so if you work with the buyer to the extent of a nice plan, and there's a good chance it would get approved. So easier sell.
Anyone else?
So Devin just brought up a good point with engineering. As far as the entrance goes, it may be that they would require the entrance to be on Robert,
Robert Street, yep.
but we will check with them and see if that would be the case or not.
I think where I sit is, I personally have no issues with townhomes in B3. I think that mixed use makes sense for many of our community members, especially as they're trying to access different amenities. I think it brings business to the businesses that are there. So conceptually, I don't have an issue with townhomes in B3 in this area. I agree. I don't feel comfortable making a decision or voting to recommend approval without actually knowing what that would look like. We also have to be careful on what we ask them to proffer. We can't do that. That would be something they'd have to bring to us. I think where I sit right now is I'm comfortable waiting and seeing if by chance, by next meeting, there is some type of site plan that can be delivered to Planning Commission. I don't know that's possible since they don't have a buyer, but I would like to give the applicant the chance unless there's some concern there from staff.
What we can suggest and recommend conditions because where it is a CUP, it's a condition.
Yeah.
So
We can do
we are
conditions,
able to
not
do that.
proffers.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Work with the
Because they
buyer.
are not trying to rezone, so.
yeah.
And I'll reverse my position on the one entrance. Based on the engineering study, it might be advantageous to actually have two. So, and looking at Robert Street there, I don't see that it's going to be a whole major issue. If it does, then people are going to go out Roanoke Street.
So I would say, I mean, at this point, does anyone have a different preference on letting the applicant know that we'd be open to seeing a conceptual plan? Otherwise, my vote would be to recommend non-approval is where I currently sit. Mike, did you have something you wanted to share?
So I'll start off pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, Section B1, and 2.2-3115, Section H. I am declaring that I am a member of one of three or more businesses that may be affected by the agenda items. As an owner of an electrical and electronic security contractor, I am able to participate in the discussion and voting on this matter fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. Having said that, traffic, not an issue for me. I'm also okay with this being a conceptual plan. I get plans are expensive, and I feel like it's going to get, I feel like it is going to get picked up by, when they go in for a site plan review. So I feel like that is fine. Having said that, I think this particular, I'm not in general opposed to residential conditional use permits in B3. We just did one almost across the street on Craig Street a few months ago. However, for this property, I kind of feel like this property is better fit for a business use. And also, when we do conditional use permits, I do feel like it should fit with the general character of the neighborhood. And, with the neighborhood of single-family homes behind there, I don't feel like that's necessarily a good fit, especially at the front of the neighborhood like that. So, just my comments. I'm probably against it as is right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Any other comments from the commissioners on if you want to take action tonight or if you would like to delay to the next meeting?
I'm okay delaying.
I'm fine to delay.
Delaying, yep.
All right. Anything else, staff, that we should ask the applicant for between now and June 30th?
Just the concept plan, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll give the applicant time to see if there's anything that additional that they're able to provide us that might inform the commissioner's next steps. So applicant, just if you're watching or listening, our next meeting is Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m. All right, that closed the public hearing comments. At this point, we'll move on to other business. Staff, you gave us some goodies, and so did Mike via email.
Yes.
Thank you.
So our current subdivision ordinance, you have a copy of that now, and that had changed it's last year now. So last year, and you can see the changes that happened at that time. And do we want to elaborate on what we think right now, or do we want to do more research? Do you want to elaborate on it?
I can, the best that we know right now.
Okay.
We'll
So,
totally take the best that we know at this moment
Okay.
in time.
deal. This is where we've gotten out of our discussions, so.
Yes. So, like Retta said, you have in front of you the existing town subdivision ordinance, which that had been changed last year, and it took subdivision plats away from street committee, which is where they had been going, and made it more of an administrative process, but assigned the planning commission approval rights for subdivisions of 50 or greater lots. However, the Virginia Senate bill that was brought up at the last commission meeting, that it addresses subdivision plats being a purely administrative review, removes any public body, removes the planning commission and the local governing body or our town council entirely from the subdivision plat review and approval process. That includes, as far as we can tell, right now, but we can confirm. That would include for subdivisions of 50 or greater lots.
Okay.
So it would make it entirely on the designated agent. As far as subdivisions go, for the town, it's the subdivision agent, who is currently Retta Jackson. And if you have any questions, I can answer, again, to the best that we know right now, but we can get some clarification and confirmation on our understanding of it.
So let me, so let me give an example. So we just had the Summit Ridge, which was 65 homes,
Thereabouts.
roughly.
Yep.
So at that point in time, that would not have come before the Plan Commission. You would have sole decision on that. Based on your current, based on what the current
Just the
understanding.
subdivision portion of it. So when they subdivide after the fact of coming in to apply for rezoning or CUP, those come to you all. After the fact, when they actually go to subdivide, then yes, that would just come to staff. So EPI would review that, and then I would be the signator on that.
So how would that change, would that in any way, for our experience, change the process as commissioners?
It would be that, since that one was over 50, that one would have come to you all as a subdivision.
Yeah.
Separately from the application for CUP or rezoning. So, yes, it does change the process, because it would not come through you all or council at that point. It would just be administrative.
So at what part in would citizens have an opportunity to provide comments in that process? Like what specific components? The conditional,
Just conditional use or the rezoning, like
Okay.
when they come in to apply for something like that, rather than, so anything that is just, creating lots or,
It's about creating those legal
re-subdividing.
lots of record.
Yeah.
So did I get this right? We didn't always have that responsibility. A while ago, something changed and we were given that responsibility of the subdivision. And then it went back. Okay, you're shaking your head. So, yeah, because I think that we all agreed that's fine. We'll take on that responsibility and agreed to it. And now, I guess Virginia state law changed, and so they're taking it away from us again. Okay.
Fortunately or unfortunately, the commission didn't have to exercise that right between when you got that responsibility
Correct.
to this point. So it's
Yeah.
something that you haven't had to deal with as of yet.
Right. So we didn't have it, then we had it, didn't have to act on it, and now we don't have it.
Right.
If
Okay.
it had gone through and they had moved forward, Summit Ridge would have been one that would have come here, but it may not now, because it may not be over 50 as it was approved
Oh,
by
yeah.
council.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody. So if I'm understanding Summit Ridge correctly, as in our example here, that still would have come to us because we had a rezone on it from A to R1, and then we also had a conditional use on Summit Ridge for one thing, smaller lot sizes in the R1. So both of those things, that would have still come before us even after SB 794 becomes law, correct?
Correct.
Just the
Yes.
subdivision part changes.
Yes.
The approval of the subdivision. Flat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
So
all
those,
right.
Got
those
it.
things won't change. You'll still see those. Concept plans can still have the subdividing on them based on whatever they're applying for. So you would have still seen those lots the same. So, and you can make recommendations on those, like what you would want to see. You can put conditions on CUPs saying that you want specific lot size, whatever it may be. And then it's up to, I guess, me to make sure that that happens.
okay.
Thank you.
Anything else to discuss?
Have anything? That's all.
Thank you. Any other business?
I heard on the council, we have two planning commission applicants. And it sounded like they were leaning toward taking applications, but not necessarily having interviews, or having council interviews, but more like just review the applications, but. anyway,
Yeah, and
sounds like there's two.
I've sent those to Scott and Randy, and they are relaying that information to the town council.
Perfect.
So they
Wonderful.
have the applications.
Summer solstice on Saturday, if anyone plans to go.
And then, what do we have here?
Dancing in the moonlight.
Yeah.
On June 30th? And then we have a comp plan meeting.
Yes, we have a subcommittee meeting on June 30th at
5:30.
5:30, and then we have a business meeting a plan commission meeting at 7, in which case we'll take action on the public hearing.
And last time we mentioned something about July 14th, a code difference, that we were going to have a work session?
Yes, at 5:30, you'll have a work session. We're defining quite a few items in the zoning code that are not defined, and it would be ideal to have them defined, and we need them.
Sure.
So there's going to be quite a few of those. I've defined half, and that's at about 11 pages, so
Okay. July 14th.
that'll be a good review.
July 14th, you said 14th?
And is 14th, Mike, the next one that you need to call in for?
The 30th. I will be in person on the 14th.
Okay, calling in for the 30th, okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, meeting adjourned,
Thank y'all.
1939. Thank you.
And then we turn these off.